Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. Thanks for joining me again. We are at the part 3 of Patrick's fish room. This time we are going to go over the mechanics so you can see exactly what it is that's going on in his fish room slash sunroom slash aquaponic amazingness. I want you guys to be able to see the type of tanks that he has. I want you to understand the filtration better, because that is a long, complicated part to understand exactly how he has this thing going on, because this thing is not standard to any type of filtration that you've seen before, but man, this thing is absolutely cool. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's fire this thing up so you guys can see what is going on. All right, so first of all, let's talk about what you've got going on here, the mechanics of this place. Let's talk about your aquariums. About what typical size aquarium do you have?
Well, I've got these. You have a row of 9 aquariums here on this side, and then there are 9 on this other side.
What size are these?
These are, I think, 25 gallons. I liked these because I got them from a pet shop, I think in Arlington. It was closing down, and they were selling these racks. I found them on Craigslist. And you don't see these size tanks much at all. They're like a 25 gallon, but the footprint of them, I like that surface area that they have. And they were already drilled. And in fact, if you go and you look between the two, because they're already drilled, you can see the plumbing. The gutter that I have that goes back to the sump, and you can see the plumbing that goes from the top row of tanks, the middle row of tanks, then to the bottom, then to the gutter that goes back to the sump. You can see on this side there's the other 9 25 gallons each aquariums there.
That's about a 33.
Yeah, that's one of those, like they sell those as frag tanks.
Yeah. And
they're already pre-drilled, so that's plumbed into the line as well, and then it goes into the sump that's a grow bed. You're looking right there at the 46 bow front, 46 bow front, and then the 29. All 3 of these are also plumbed into that IBC tote grow bed.
Over here we go.
And now on this side, and it's a whole other set of tanks, we've got the 90 gallon up top, and then the 100 gallon, and both of these run into the grow bed. And on this rack, I work at a school, and so I was able to get some of the welders. I bought the material and they kind of welded it for me, this stand. At the top there's 4 20 longs, and then I've got another one of those frag tanks. Then you have 4 29 gallon tanks over here, followed by another 20 long at the end. And then they feed into the big 125 on the bottom and a 55 gallon on the other side. And then all of that goes into a gutter right back into the IBC tote sump grow bed.
You have so many oddly shaped tanks.
I do. These are tanks.
Uncommon, not odd, but uncommon.
And they're tanks that they've been collected throughout the years. And so I've made all of this. You know, I didn't come up with the blueprint and then get the tanks. I had all the tanks, drilled them, and a lot of them have tank overflows as well, because I didn't like the flow of just what I drilled. If I could, there's a lot of things if I could do different, I would do different, but
you had to puzzle piece it together.
I did, and that's what I did with these. I made it so that they would all fit in the system. I built the system for the tanks because I already had the tanks. So there you see the 29s and the 20 longs that are up top. And then on that side you have a 75 and a 75. And the angels are saying hi.
As they always do.
And then the 40s stacked, and I'm probably gonna make a new stand over here, and because I have more tanks. I ran out of room. If I could have made this room bigger, I would have.
You and me both.
So, but I mean, when I'm talking about like every inch of space, I'm using every inch of space in this room, for sure.
Okay, so about how many tanks do you think you have?
Just short of 50 tanks in this room.
Any idea of gallons?
I think both systems, because I kind of treat this as one system and this is another system, and this one is just under 1,000 gallons and this one is just over 1,000 gallons.
So about 2,000?
So about 2,000 gallons of water that's happening in this system, in these two systems.
What about heating and cooling?
So I heat the room. When I had this sunroom built, I built 2x6 walls in it. and I made sure that it was well insulated. That way I could heat the room. And I have some exterior type of stuff for the walls. And then, yeah, I heat the room to about 82 degrees, 82, 84 for the angels. And then everything is tailored to that. And in the summer, I just open the windows.
Oh, so I see. It's when you say sunroom, there's the brick. It's actually...
Yes, it was built onto the house.
Ah, okay.
It's an extension.
Now I see, now I see.
It is a sunroom.
And so you have a centralized heater?
Yes,
you have a...
so if we look right here, I've got this, and it heats the room. I have some windows open now, so we're a bit more comfortable, but normally it's like the tropics in here.
Now is that a heater or a dehumidifier?
That's a heater, and then up here is the dehumidifier that also produces heat. And so I only have to run this in the winter. I put it off right now for the sound. And then it drains into this, which goes into a drain that's on the, that's built into the slab. When I had this built, I had 2 drains built in that drain out.
Okay.
And so that's the dehumidifier, this is the heater.
Yeah, because Phil literally only runs a dehumidifier.
Right.
He doesn't run.
And his space is a bit smaller with the garage, but I'm also doing angels, and so I like mine a bit warmer than what Phil does. Because his is great for especially the Placos and stuff. But my concern is I want the angels breeding first, and then I'll worry about the other stuff. A lot of the mentality in this fish room is, I don't know if you ever watched Rocky IV.
Yeah.
And you've got the Russian, and he's just beat Creed, and he says to the reporters, if he dies, he dies. And in this fish room, I'll throw stuff in, plants, whatever, and I'm just like, all right, if it lives, it lives, and if it dies, it dies.
What about lighting?
Lighting. So there's a guy that I know in Oklahoma. I have family there, and I love his fish room. In fact, on my channel, I went and I do a whole tour of his fish room. And as I was planning this out, I was asking him, what does he use? Because he grows a lot of plants, and he just does LED shop lights, you know. And he grows some great plants. But he said he got some LED shop lights from Sam's Club. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna get some LED shop lights because they'll grow plants just fine, and they are. I mean, my plants are growing. And I also have, it's a sunroom, so it does get some daylight in there too. And doing a lot of studying and stuff on a lot of these plants, especially if you're not doing CO2 tanks and stuff like that, the plants will adapt. So really, you're looking for a light spectrum that is pleasant for you to look at. These are, I think, 4,000 Kelvin, but then I've got some 6,500 Kelvin on this other system. I like the way they look better. But it's not like I can tell a difference in the plant growth. They grow plants and they grow algae just fine. So they're growing stuff.
So pretty much the same shop lights on just about every single...
Yeah, same. So it's shop lights. I mean, they're different ones. I've got off Amazon, some of them off Walmart, and it'll get bright if you want to see it.
Yeah. It's a strips one, okay.
Yep. But those are the shop lights on...
It's keeping the dreaded duckweed alive.
Golly, I tell people... Come and get it. Sometimes,
I hate it.
Sometimes I see on these forums people selling duckweed. I'm like, who sells duckweed?
Who's buying it?
What is that? Come to my house.
You can have all
you can net. All right, have a party.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Right. I've got 2 types. I think I've got 3 types of duckweed. I've never got duckweed in my life. I don't even know how. But I've got a myriad of different types of duckweed. It's insane.
Okay, filtration. I know you talked about it a little bit. But
let's go over this filtration. All right, so my idea with filtration, I got fascinated with cut IBC totes and aquaponics. And when it comes to cut IBC totes, a lot of times what happens with these cut IBC totes, they've cut the IBC tote and they have a grow bed. In the grow bed, they've got, in fact, let's go look at this one. This one will be better so I can show you the bell siphon that is on there. So on these cut IBC totes, they've got what's known as a bell siphon. This is a bell siphon. You've got a PVC coming up to the level that you want, and then it forms a siphon with this and creates a flood and drain system. And so a lot of these aquaponic cut IBC totes, they'll put in lava rock or some other stuff, and they're growing produce. They're growing something. In fact, I've got some tomatoes growing in this other grow bed. Okay, they're growing something, and on the bottom they'll put tilapia, catfish, trout, big fish. Okay, and I'm looking at these big fish and I'm thinking that's a big bioload that these plants are filtering, and these fish are living. So I thought, well, if that works for these big fish with this big bioload, surely it can work for aquarium fish. But I couldn't find any kind of information or anything online where anybody had actually done it. So I did it. I went and I took an IBC tote that's cut. I've got, if you look in this sump right here, there's a pump. And this pump pumps water up. And it pumps that water all the way up, and you'll see I've got it plumbed. And as it goes up and over,
that's this big inch and a half or
that inch and a half pipe right there that has water going through, and it circulates through the top, and then it comes back right over here down back into the sump. And I've got a just a barrel that I cut, and I've got even some lava rock down there. It's kind of like a nitrogen filter, like a big, you know, a lot of lava rock and stuff in there, because you need a deep bed for when you're trying to filter out any kind of nitrates. All right, and then but the inch and a half pipe up here, it feeds water to the top tanks. Okay. And then through gravity they come down, and then if you look, I've got, and where it all comes out, I've got a hang on back filter. And a lot of them have pothos ivy or bamboo or something coming out of those. None of them are plugged in. It's just gravity fed. Oh. Comes down, feeds into the tank, then it drains back, feeds into the next level until it goes back into the gutter and back into the sump. And that is really part of what's filtering everything. Now in a lot of tanks I've got under gravel filters and sponge filters. I've got, you know, I can put in these hang on back filters, I can put cartridges besides the plants that I go in.
There you have it. There is part one to the mechanics of Patrick's Fish Room. Again, man, this is some complicated stuff on how this thing works. So I wanted to break this up into multiple parts so you guys can see a little bit more, to see exactly how this thing works, especially the filtration we're spending a lot of time on because of just all the intricacies. And again, it's so different than anything that you've ever seen before. So I want to be able to capture it all for you guys. So be sure to leave a comment down below if you got any comments. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, be sure and hit that subscribe button. So thanks again, guys, and God bless.